Hey, Hometown Real Estate. I have been kind of put in charge here of this conversion code, and it's been a great book so far. We're into 1 through 4 chapters. A lot of this is going to be like a learning curve of Kevin and I kind of trying to figure this thing out and seeing what the best way to get you the information and make it interactive, because we want to be sure you can comment and ask questions and get a little dialogue started up too. So I think we're going to try like a blog format. We're going to do the video here. This is going to be a first take video, so there's going to be mistakes and I'm going to screw up, and it's going to happen, but it's going to be genuine. So we're going to have a little bit of that, and then we're going to put it on a blog post, and we'll share the contact for that so you'll know where to go for all that stuff. And then just ask questions, or, hey, I tried this out, and this worked. And Kevin and I will do the same thing. I'm going to try some of these things. I'm already implementing a lot of these things, so we'll open a nice dialogue to help you grow your business. Now, the idea of the chapters is we have 1 through 4. We're going to try to break it down. Next week, we'll do 5 through 8, 5 through 9. Every 4, yeah, 5 through 9. And then what we'll do is some of the main ideas from each chapter. Obviously, I'm going to miss stuff. Like, he breaks down a lot of things. I'm not going to break down everything that happens in the chapter. Some of that's for the dialogue. Some of it's for you to ask more questions about. But I really want to just break down some of the main things he mentions, and then how we can implement that in our daily business as well. And again, these are just a few ideas, and I'm sure you're going to elaborate on this and make it way better. So looking forward to it, and this is good. Now, if you've listened to the book, Chris Smith is a good guy, but his cadence is really tough to follow sometimes. Like he does the I like to read, and yeah, he's pretty good. And if you're reading the hard copy like I did, highlighting, going through makes it a little bit easier sometimes. So whatever version you're into, hopefully you're doing well with Chris Smith. And he's got a ton of YouTube videos, and he's got a bunch of stuff too. So if you like what he's giving you, he's got a lot of content out there. All right, so without further ado, we have chapter 1. And in chapter 1, he starts out with websites. Now, I know Hometown does the website for you, and it's great, and it's got lead capturing type thing, and it's got your listings, and it's got automatic posts. So really what we're going to talk about is websites in different fashions, like sharing with more creative content and blogs and things, which any of the websites can do. I personally use Weebly, but I know there's WordPress, and I know Kevin will send out a couple more as well, Squarespot, and there's a bunch of them now, some of them free, some of them pay. So you can use the Hometown one, like we all do, and the Weebly one, like I do. And I have the Weebly one. It's got a lot of my videos on it. It's got a blog on it. It's going to be, this blog is going to be on there. It's got local pictures. It's got a lot of stuff that are not automatic to the Hometown one. So that's what we talk about when we're talking about websites. Things that you can personalize and put your stuff on there, okay? And he talks about ways to set it up, and he kind of goes back and forth a little bit, and he says design over content, but then he kind of backtracks a little bit and says, you know, content is actually also important. So what we're going to talk about is the fact that you want to keep it simple. He says white space is fine, and it really is true. The white space, keep it simple. You don't want a bunch of pictures. You don't want like a dark website. You want it to be bright, very, very simple. That way, when you have like things to click on, like you want to send to the contact page or the blog page, you can make those pop out by making it a brighter color, like a red or a blue or something along those lines. So if you're making it through Weebly and you're doing it yourself, keep it simple, keep it one column, don't make it too elaborate, don't get fancy. Make it an easy place for your people to navigate in through. And so you don't want a bunch of tabs, maybe 3 or 4 tabs at most, and keep it simple. So that's what we got out of the website part. Now, he also discusses landing pages, and he believes that landing pages are a much quicker and easier way. It's kind of the hot button. If you don't have a website but you want to bring in leads, use the landing pages. It's just a one-page setup, and it's got information on it. You can change the information on there. You can make it lead capturing. You can make it one of your houses. You can make it a blog. You can make it pictures in the community. You can do whatever you want with it, but it's only a one-page, quick and easy. Usually there's like some kind of contact me or some kind of sign up for you button, and that's why he talks about it being so efficient, because it's plain, it's simple, people go right to it, and they click one thing, you capture their information, everybody's happy. And he talks a little bit about that as well. He's got some places to get content. He talks about the Sumo Me, and the Sumo Me is actually kind of cool. I tried that out a little bit. There's a free version, and you can put it on your Weebly, or you can put it on your website, or your landing pages, and it's just like a little bar off to the side, and you can click on your social media, and you can click on different things, and it pops up, and people can just jump on your various things and contact you whenever they want. There's like Mashables, which has got a lot of different topics and a lot of different information too. There's Clout with a K. That's another great place. So you just get content, get information, help share things. But there's a lot of them, and Kevin and I will throw a couple of those on there as well. Places you can get free information. House Logic, that's another great one where you get information about the areas too. And you can make anything you want on these landing pages. You can put anything you want on these websites. Just make sure it's interesting. You know, if it's the same stuff that Zillow and Trulia have, then they might as well just go to Zillow and Trulia. So make it something that's localized, that pertains to you, that makes you seem like a human being that's out there trying to help people. All right. So that's chapter 1, nice and easy. Chapter 2, we're moving right along. He says he goes into blogs quite a bit. Blogs are the easiest ways to share information about you while still staying professional, so that way people can connect to you. All right. And he talks about there's lots and lots and lots of different things you can go on. You can go on and talk about houses a little bit if you want to. You can talk about your hobbies. You can talk about anything that makes you different than somebody else, that makes you care about your clients and your friends and your whatnot. But make sure it's something you're interested in. If you're doing a blog about something that you just kind of care about, or it's just professional, then it's going to come off that way. Do a blog on something you're passionate about. It doesn't always have to be real estate related. It could be about anything. You could do like a real estate blog at the beginning of the week, and then maybe I like to be an equestrian or something like that midway through the week, or my kids' football team halfway through the week, or whatever you want to do. And you can do multiple different blogs. They're really easy to do. But he says, when in the book, and you've read it, without blogs, you're a dying business. You need to do it. The return on investment for blogs is one of the best return on investments in all of advertising. And if you don't like writing, use pictures. He says there's a lot of pictures you can use on there. I do videos a lot. Obviously, I'm a video guy. So I do a lot of videos on my blogs. You can do that too. It doesn't have to be a big, elaborate. You just do it off your phone. You can do like a 1-minute spiel real quick, because under 1 minute, you can also use it on Instagram, and you can use it on Facebook. And you can make that your blog. You can make the video your blog, and then comments and things and links underneath. Anything you want to do, anything you find interesting, that can be your blog. But try to make it personalized. Make yourself seem uncommon, all right? And set it up, and it's really easy to do, okay? I found it really, as a side note, and I should have known this forever ago, but when you do the Weebly, for example, they make the website really, it's like www.billysammons.weebly.com, and it looks kind of unprofessional because you have the Weebly on there, and it makes it look like it's gimmicky. But you can go to Bitly, and bit.ly.com, you can make a free new URL, and it's really easy to share, and you can make it wherever you want to, like bit.ly/Billy Real Estate, or whatever you want. So that way it gives it a professional, customized link, and you can still use the free Weebly or whatever site you decide to use. So blogs, landing pages, websites. And then he spends an awful lot of time talking about headlines. And he says it's very important to catch the reader's audience's attention with the headlines. And if you're not good at making headlines, you can Google places and find different headlines and different ones that work and kind of gimmicky ones. And he's got a whole list, and he reads them off in the book, and he's got them like 1 through 8. But be sure your headlines are something that will catch people's attention and makes them want to click on things and read a little bit more about what's going on. So there's a list in there too. And then he also talks about how adding the 1,600 words is about his sweet spot, he says. And that's a chunk. That's a decent paragraph there. Don't ramble on. Like, if you can't get to 1,600 words, don't just start doing tangents and talking about things that don't really matter. But try to get it around 1,600. If not, make it a paragraph. Make it 3 sentences, 5 sentences. Whatever you got to do to make it something that's genuine, that people are going to follow, and that reflects you. And then, of course, add images. Better yet, add videos. I don't think there's any websites or landing pages that will let you do videos. But videos, images, all those things are great for your blogs and your websites and your landing pages. So those are the first 2 chapters, and they're actually pretty short. 3, 4 gets even longer, but 3's not that long either. And he starts dabbling into the design versus content thing, and he's got a study that he does with 40 to 60-year-old women, and he talks about that a little bit, how they wanted to see a clean, easy to read website, and the content was second to the design. But then he kind of backtracks a little bit and says, well, that doesn't mean you put crappy content on there. Be sure the content you use is something that people are going to want to read, they're going to enjoy. And a very easy way to get content on your blogs and websites is to ask your people. Just say, what do you need to do? Just an easy post on Facebook. Hey, this has been 5 years of real estate. I'm trying to give you much free content. Comment here below some things you want. You can make it as easy or complicated as you want it to be. But make sure the content is something that they're going to actually care about and listen to and use, okay? And he also talks about lead magnets. Once you get that content, once you get that where people want to click on it and they want to read it, that's your chance to put little sign up clicks or contact me clicks, things where people will sign up and get the further information from you. So if you have a great blog, for example, on buy-ups, people that are selling their houses and buying the next big one, which seems to be kind of a trendy right now. You have the great content, you got a bunch of people clicking on it, you put a lead magnet in it. For my free seller guide, click here. They click on it, you get their content, and you get a chance to get a hold of them, and they get a free buyer's guide or seller's guide or whatever you have. I also use BombBomb for that personally. I have a little setup where they click on it and it sends them a couple of videos of information and stuff like that. So give them something that they want once you're providing that great content, and make sure you take their lead and stay in touch with them and follow up and do all that stuff too. And then he spends a lot of time, and this is the stuff that I really liked, and I'm working on more and more. Time obviously is a factor in our industry, but make sure you include people. Make sure you do one-on-ones. Everything we do, everything we have here is a chance for you to try to draw in people one-on-one, to bring in questions from people that you know, to engage in conversations. His big thing is trying to make social media social again, and he spends a lot of time talking about how Facebook and these other places are better than Google, and they're better than Google because you get a chance to interact with them. When you go to Google and you type in whatever you're looking for, it plays a bunch of websites and you have all information. That's all well and good. But when we have Facebook and Instagram, you have an opportunity to ask them personal questions, interact with them, see how they're doing that day. It's like a pop-by, but digitally. So you don't have to run around and actually knock on your clients and friends' doors. You can do the same exact thing, but through Facebook and Instagram. And so he spends a lot of time talking about including people and being sure that you're getting one-on-one conversations. And then a little bit more about headlines and sub-headlines, and he kind of lost me a little bit there. Like, I know what he's talking about, that the headlines are important and subline headlines are important, so that makes sure you use a lot of the key words and terms that will pop up in SEO and search engine optimization. And he spent some time doing that, and you really want to probably go back and look at it a little bit more. I just get caught up in providing my folks with useful information instead. And then I do a lot of like individual sharing and stuff like that. But he's right that when you improve your SEO, you're reaching more people. And he goes through some techniques about the headlines and the sub-headlines and cross-linking things and including articles from that you previously wrote and reusing some of those articles, and maybe using articles of people that have posted similar things, or maybe even hometown things. Grab an article from Kevin and put it on there. I'm sure he'll be fine with that as well. So he talks about all those ways of bringing up your SEO and making it better. A lot of it is probably out of my area. I don't use it as much, but it's great content, and he's absolutely right with it. So that's chapter 3. And then we're moving right in chapter 4, and this is great stuff. I liked chapter 4 the best, I think, when he's talking about Facebook is king. And he uses his daughter as an example and says, my daughter has never told me to go on something and Google it or to pull up that website. She always says, go ahead and look that up on Facebook. Follow it on Facebook. Check it out on Facebook first. And it's because it's interactive. And you're getting reactions from people and feedback from people. And some people that have tried this or have done that. And it's a very easy way to get interactive with your group of people. So grow that Facebook page. I'm not saying go through and just start friending everybody, because some people will be freaked out that they don't know you and they're not going to like it, or they're going to, some people I guess even turn you in, that kind of thing. You can do that. But for everybody you ever known or talked to, go through and it's a great chance to interact with them and be creative. Things that work for you. And he gives lots of different examples of, hey, I'm working on a project. Can I sit down sometime and pick your brain? Or, let's go grab lunch one day. And there's a lot of different ways and things that you can be creative and interact with your people. And he talks about that quite a bit there. And that ties in with the don't stay in common. And he uses the birthday again as the example. Everybody in the world says happy birthday. It's really awful. He says, instead of just wishing somebody happy birthday, send them a card. Send them some chocolates. Do something like that. Send them a gift card for a birthday cake. Something that's different than what everybody else is doing. Because if you stay common, you're going to blend in with everybody else and you're going to be white noise, which is not the point of our job. And then he does the 3-on-3 technique, and Kevin and I are talking just a few minutes ago that the 3-on-3 technique is great, but it's almost impossible. It's not impossible because we just don't have the time always to do something like that. But the 3-on-3 technique is to make 3 posts to people's walls on Facebook. Something where you're checking in on them, see how they're doing, how the family's doing, picking their brain on some ideas or things like that. I recently had one where I saw a friend of mine who posted something about technology, and I had a couple of website ideas, and so I reached out and I said, hey, I see you do technology. Let's sit down sometime, and I got a couple of ideas for my website. I just want to see if they're even feasible or what you think about them. So things like that are great, and that's what he means by jumping on people's walls. And the other one is instant messaging them. So 3 private instant messages to people. Sometimes those get stuck and you don't notice that you get them sometimes, and people kind of gets fed up in their instant messenger. But a lot of times they do see those and they respond to you. And he says do 3 of those wall posts, 3 of those messages a day, which seems like a little bit overwhelming perhaps. Getting 6 people every day for the whole year might be a little much. And let's say you're taking Christmas off and you're taking Thanksgiving off and probably weekends, but the conversation Kevin and I just had is that you really need to set the time aside for that. Like if you send somebody a message and then go off and do your thing or go back to work and they're responding, there's no interaction there. Like you need to really set an hour or 2 aside where you can go back and forth them a little bit and kind of interact with them and see how they're doing. Be genuine. Don't be fake. Don't be telling this. I'm just doing this to grow my real estate. I'm just a guy that's trying to meet more people and I need to sell more houses. That's ridiculous. Take this as an opportunity to actually go out and meet people and see how they're doing and be genuine when you do these things, or else it's not going to work. People can smell disingenuous behaviors from a mile away, especially in this antisocial social media era. So be genuine. I want to see how you're doing. I want to see how the family's doing. I want to go out and grab a bite to eat. I want to do this and really mean it. And if you don't mean it, don't do it. That's my solid advice. If you don't mean it, don't do it. Try something else. And then the last one is the Facebook groups. And he uses or talks about the Facebook group, not necessarily as like starting like a real estate Facebook group necessarily, but like a Facebook group in a neighborhood or an area or your softball team or something like that where you get a chance to actually talk to people, again, one-on-one. I mean, there's some group information that he's probably sharing, but that's not really the goal of it. The goal of it is really to, see individual people and talk to individuals and send them articles that you think they would like and do things like that where you're interacting one-on-one with people, not just being a group leader. So if you're doing the Facebook thing, make sure it's a very specific, according to his book, be a very specific group of people, somebody you know, somebody you can interact with and enjoy. And then as he talks, he says all these different techniques of getting people to your websites and landing them on your landing pages and getting them all together is, there's 3 different groups of people once you get there. There's the Magic Million, which is all the people that have ever been on the web and may be interested in your articles and maybe clicked on a website or something like that. The chunky middle is you take that group of Magic Million and the people that actually give you their information. They're in on board. I want to know more about what you're doing and what you're selling and what kind of person you are. I want to know more about you. And that's your chunky middle. And then the last one is the sweet spot. Those are the friends and clients and close people that you send very specific things to. This is where I'd put my big fan, raving fans. That would be my sweet spot. People that I know very well. And there's these 3 groups of people, and once you start getting them to jump on your landing page or check out your website or comment on your blog, and you start getting their information, be sure you're doing stuff with it. Don't just, I have a bunch of emails, and now what? You got to have something. Maybe that you blog to them every week. Maybe you send a little video of them, like a bomb video, or even off your phone, do a little video and say, hey, I just want to check in, see how things are doing. Getting the people's information and talking to them one time is just the starting point. After that, you've got to find new and interesting ways, genuine new and interesting ways to interact with them and do things with them. Because once they get on board, once they meet you, once they know who you are as a person, that you really care about what they're doing, then you're getting more and more clients. And I hate using the word clients, but they are essentially your clients, but they trust you. All right, so you need to get to that point. Grab the leads, filter them in, find out who's who, and then find new ways to interact with them. So that's kind of chapters 1 through 4 here so far. We're going to put the video up. We'll put some links up. We'll put some information up. If you have questions, I'm a middle-of-the-ground technology guy. I know just enough, but if you have questions, send them my way. And if I don't know, we can find somebody else that does know. And then we're going to do chapters 5 through 9. And we're going to do that next Monday, and we'll throw that on the blog again, and we'll have all the same type stuff and links. If this format works for you, make sure you comment or send us an email. If you have ideas for improvement, this is not a perfect scenario yet. We're not exactly we're not experts at these things. So send them along. We'll make changes, make adjustments. We'll do whatever helps you learn this book a little better, helps you interact with the book, because you got to interact with the book just like you're interacting with your clients, same concepts. So we'll see the stuff up, comment, email, share, like, stop by and see me, whatever you got to do, and we'll make this thing better and better. Hopefully you're enjoying the book, not his monotone reading, but his book in general, and we'll see you next week.